Hello everyone, today's deck profile is going to feature the Rikka archetype from Secret Slayers. For starters, 3 copies of Rikka Petal. This is the strongest card in the deck because it allows you to search any Rikka monster. Additionally, if you control no non-plant monsters during your opponent's end phase, it summons itself back for a steady stream of card advantage. Additionally, we are running 3 copies of Mudan, the Rikka Fairy. This tributes a plant monster to special summon itself, and when special summoned by the effect of a plant monster, including cards like Lone Fire Blossom, you can add a Rikka spell or trap from your deck to your hand. To enable these cards, we're going to run 3 copies of Snowdrop, the Rikka Fairy. This tributes a plant monster on the field to special summon it and any other plant from your hand. It also matches levels between all of your plant monsters, enabling easy Xyz summons. We are running 2 copies of Hellebore, the Rikka Fairy, which protects your monsters from targeting, and tributes plants to summon itself from the graveyard. We are running 1 copy of Primula, which can summon itself when you tribute a monster. 2 copies of Rikka, which powers up your plant monsters in battle and can summon itself from graveyard whenever you tribute a plant. And 1 copy of Cyclamen, which tributes itself to reduce the levels of plants you control by 2, and during the end phase, if it was tributed this turn, you can special summon it from the graveyard. Now for the non-Rikka monsters, we're obviously running 3 copies of Lone Fire Blossom. When I said Rikka Petal was the best monster earlier, I didn't mean it. Lone Fire Blossom is the real best monster because it tributes itself or any plant and summons any plant from deck. Oh, and it triggers all your Rikka cards. 1 Spore for a recurring tuner, 1 copy plant for level modulation and a tuner, and 1 World Carrotweight Champion, who reliably returns to you many times over the course of a long game. And finally, Titaniel, Princess of Camellias. She tributes plants to prevent targeting by your opponent, and can be brought out many different ways. Now for spells, we're running 1 copy of Monster Reborn, 1 copy of 1 for 1, mainly to summon Rikka Petal, 1 copy of Pot of Desires for card advantage, and 2 copies of Rose Bell of Revelation. This both searches and summons from hand Rikka and Hellebore, as well as Titaniel. We are also running 1 copy of Black Garden, which can be searched with our Synchro, and clogs the opponent's board while providing us tribute fodder. Now for Rikka spells, we're running 3 copies of Rikka Glamour, which not only searches any Rikka card, if you have a spare plant to tribute, it can also search any plant. Then we are running 1 copy of Rikka Flurries, which turns any of our Rikka monster tributes into a forced tribute for your opponent. For traps, we're running 3 Trap Trick, and to go with it, we have 2 copies of Rikka Sheet, which is a sort of searchable crackdown, 2 copies of Rikka Tranquility, which is a monster reborn for Rikkas and optionally other plants as well, and 2 copies of Spiritual Water Art AOI. All your Rikka monsters are water, so tribute one of them and watch your opponent cry while you tear apart their hand. On to the extra deck, we're running 1 Garden Rose Maiden, to make with Spore or Copy Plant situationally and search up Black Garden, the rank 4 staple Abyss Dweller, and Black Ship of Corn as the only remotely playable plant rank 4. For rank 6 Xyz, we have 2 copies of Kenzashi the Rikka Queen, who can summon any monster from any graveyard when a monster is tributed, and 1 copy of Dhampir Vampire Sheridan, who you can actually make with monsters you steal with Rikka Sheet. For rank 8, we're running 2 copies of Teardrop the Rikka Queen, who is the real boss monster of the deck, with her quick effect tribute removal, and 1 copy of Alcé the Sylvan High Protector, who returns cards on the field to the deck. And finally, the Link monsters. 2 copies of Aromaseraphy Jasmine, who contribute any monster she points to summon any plant monster from the deck. Next, 1 copy of Mistar Boy to buff your team, and 1 copy of Marincess Crawl Anemone, who can actually summon most of the Rikka from the graveyard. 1 copy of Power Code Talker, who can negate a face-up monster on the field, and by tributing a card that he points to, he can become a 4600 beater. And then to finish it off, we have the strongest boss monster ever printed, Boral Sword Dragon, to close out games. Pause the video here if you want a closer look at the full extra deck. And because the archetype is relatively new, I wanted to demonstrate a simple combo for the deck, starting with Rikka Petal and a plant in hand. To start, normal summon Rikka Petal, then activate her effect to search any Rikka, in this case, Mudan, to your hand. Next, activate Mudan's effect tributing Rikka Petal to special summon itself. This will trigger Mudan's second effect to search a Rikka spell or trap card, in this case Rikka Glamour. Then, activate Rikka Glamour, and use it to search any Rikka, in this case, Snowdrop. Now that we have Snowdrop and a plant in hand, and a plant on the field, you can tribute the plant on field, Mudan, to special summon Snowdrop and your other plant. Then you just use Snowdrop's effect to make all of your plants the same level, in this case 8, and Xyz summon Teardrop the Rikka Queen. Petal is still in the graveyard, giving you more plays at the end of your opponent's next turn. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching.